Good evening. Welcome to the March 19th, 2026 meeting of the Mount Juliet Municipal and Regional Planning Commission meeting. As we begin our meeting tonight, we do have two members absent and therefore like to discuss our quorum requirements. It states that the presence of five members of the commission shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. Chairperson may at his or her discretion wait up to 30 minutes after the scheduled meeting time for a quorum to be present. In the event that a member is required to leave a meeting prior to adjournment and the departure causes a loss of quorum, no further official action may be taken until a quorum is restored other than an adjournment. Majority vote of those commissioners present, and in no case less than 4 affirmative votes, shall be required to decide any item of business requiring action by the commission. With that being said, we will move on to our first item on the agenda, and that is to set the agenda. I am aware of one change on the agenda tonight. It is a request for deferral, and the deferral is item 9A, which is to review the subdivision regulations amendment to Article 4-103, Streets and Pedestrian Ways. So that will come back on our May agenda. We need to make appropriate public notification in regards to that. Outside of the deferral of item 9A, we aware of any other changes, adjustments? Seeing none, we'll set the agenda as stated. Our next item up of business falls underneath our staff reports. Begin with our city planner, Mr. John.
Thank you, Chairman. The one thing I'd like to bring to your attention is item 7A. It's the PUD amendment for Traymore. The cover letter that's in your packet says that they're asking for the CO trigger to be 50 COs. They wanted to amend that after we had begun the process of putting together the packet. It's 25 COs is what they're going to be asking tonight. And that's all.
Perfect. Wonderful. Shane, anything from Public Works?
No, sir.
I got to say a huge thank you to a Public Works team. I believe that you have collected all of the vast majority of the branches right now. So talk to us.
I believe in the last month, they hired an emergency contractor to come pick up all the brush from the ice storm. They finished this week. So I believe they're going to resume our regular service starting Monday. So kudos to them. Mr. White did a heck of a job pulling that together and keeping it on the train. So like I said, I wouldn't trade that bunch of group for anybody else in this country. They did a heck of a job with the storm and managing all that. And they did a flawless job getting all this together for us.
So now we have a big mountain of branches.
Yes, it's on Clemens Road. So anyone wants to go see it, they can
if anybody needs an extra branch, you're welcome to come grab one. Huh? I understand. I saw the truck that provided that service going down the road and reminded me of something off Mad Max Thunderdome or something. I always really that black truck with the trailer. I was like, what is that? I was like, there they are, because they also provided service on our road. So very grateful for that and the quick cleanup as well. All right, we will move on. Our next item up on our agenda falls underneath our citizen comments. At this time, we will take citizen comments. Public is welcome and encouraged to make public comment about any item on our agenda. There will be 2 opportunities for comments. You may speak now, or you may speak when the item is presented to the Planning Commission. We do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. And anyone wishing to make comment at this time is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we will move forward with our next item on the agenda. We'll begin with item 5A. It's to adopt the minutes from the February 19th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Any adjustments, typos, errors, corrections? Seeing none, looking for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next item up on our agenda falls underneath our consent agenda. We'll begin with item 6A, which is the development letter of credit number 7003480 for Winfield Phase 2 in the amount of $409,327.51 can be released. Item 6B, sewer letter of credit number 55111015 for Waterford Park Phase 1 in the amount of $252,114 can be released. Item 6C, the sewer letter of credit number 55111020 for Waterford Park Phase 2 in the amount of $115,435.50 can be released. On 6D? Okay, let me get around to that. We'll grab it up.
Property line fence that's supposed to be installed. And it has not been installed, and this is final.
Larry, would you prefer for us to take that off of consent? That way we can hear consent and bring it to the back?
Okay, if they hadn't found anything, yes, I'd like to take it out.
You'd like to take it off?
Yes.
Any objection to us removing item 6D from the consent agenda? That being said, we're going to move item 6D off of the consent, and it'll be heard prior to item 7A. With that, we'll finish the consent agenda. We'll begin with, or the next item up would be item 6E, is review the final plat for Cane Break Phase 4, located off Devonshire Drive. Item 6F, review the final plat for Tillman Place, located at 6235 Central Pike. Item 6G, review the final plat for Secluded Valley Acres, located at 191 Second Avenue. Item 6H, which is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It is to review the PUD amendment for Providence Central, located at 200 Adams Lane. Mr. John, any comments from planning?
Just what you see in the staff reports, approval for all of them, except for the PUD amendment, which is a positive recommendation.
Very well. Shane, anything from Public Works?
Ditto with planning.
Very well. Questions, comments from the commission? See none at this time. Let's call for citizen comments. Anyone wishing to make comment about any item on the consent agenda is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we do need to close the planning commission meeting and open a public hearing. Public hearing is in regards to items 6E, 6F, 6G. Item 6E is to review the final plat for Cane Break Phase 4, located off Devonshire Drive. Item 6F is to review the final plat for Tillman Place, located at 6235 Central Pike. Item 6G is to review the final plat for Secluded Valley Acres, located at 191 Second Avenue. Anyone wishing to make a comment on any item during the public hearings, welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. See no citizen comments at this time. We'll close our public hearing and reopen our planning commission meeting. And at which time I'm looking for a motion in regards to the items on our consent agenda.
Move to approve with all conditions.
It's a motion. And a second
With positive recommendation.
with the positive recommendation. Is that correct? Very well. Second stand. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Our next item up on our agenda is item 6D. It is to review the final plat for Wind Tree Pines Phase 7B, located off Wind Tree Club Drive. I'll start with Commissioner Searcy. Question and comment in regards to that item.
When we approved this, they were supposed to put a property line fence on the southern property line, which is joining my property.
Yes, sir.
And they was actually supposed to do it at the beginning of construction. But there's no fence there. And we on the final.
Yep. John, you want to speak to that?
Yes, it's a good question. We would notice it at the end, when it's completed. But what we'll look into it, and what I'll do is we could hold a CO on those homes until it was installed. It's condition of the PUD. It wouldn't necessarily be it wouldn't be shown on a plat. A fence wouldn't show up on this plat.
Right.
But if they don't install it by the time they're looking to fill those houses, we would hold them with a CO or something. We'd just address it that way or something. But and As to why they haven't done it, I don't know if they had a trigger on this. They probably didn't have like a trigger on the COs, although you did say it was earlier in the process. It
I
was
mean, this
supposed
is,
to be done.
this is 7 phases.
Seven, yeah. All right, we'll get you an answer on that because it doesn't really affect this plat, but if it was a condition, they're gonna have to do it before they, sell the homes, sell the lots. So
Same, question, if we, since this is a final plat right here, can we, should we make a positive vote on this item on our agenda? Can we also add that, as a condition of the approval of this final plat, that the, fence be installed, if not, COs held until its completion? Okay. No need to really put that in.
I don't know if we're going to have to wait to we can address that.
Do we happen to have any representation present today? We do not. Okay.
But also defer it for the next meeting. You have 60 days if you want any answer before approving the plat, but something we can just adjust it. Okay. Oh, okay.
One time.
Okay, never mind.
We need to take action on it. Very well. No action would constitute automatic approval. Very well. Commissioner Giles, you had a comment?
Well, those comments should have been somewhere, and I don't know why we've gone 7 phases without this fence being put in.
Great question. Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine that they're going to look into it. Yeah. Commissioner Franklin?
It's a final plat. You can make anything conditional on a final plat, can't you? We've done it before.
That'd be good.
You can add it in.
Yeah. We're good. Any other questions, comments from the commission? Let me go ahead and call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Anyone wishing to make comment this time is welcome to come to the microphone and name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we do need to, close our planning commission meeting and open a public hearing. The public hearing is in regards to item 6D, is to review the final plat for Windtree Pines Phase 7B, located off Windtree Club Drive. Anyone wishing to make comment during the public hearing, you're welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone, name and address for the record. See no citizen comments this time. We'll close our public hearing, and at which time I am looking for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda.
Their COs until they consent to put that fence up.
How about a motion for approval with a added condition of no COs until the fence is complete?
Chairman,
Please.
can we add if it was a condition? We're not seeing it in the approved ordinance, the PUD, so I'm not sure that it was a condition. So just
Okay.
add the caveat that it is a condition. We're not adding a condition now.
I'll never forget that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I agree.
Jennifer was over there. We had that discussion of what type of fence we was gonna put up.
I think I recall that too.
I didn't really care what type, as long as they put one up.
Yeah, because that's got active cattle on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that's a motion.
It's a motion.
Second. It's a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against, abstentions? So approved. All right. Next item up on our agenda falls underneath item 7A. This is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It is to review the PUD amendment for the Traymore subdivision located off Bender's Ferry Road. Mr. John?
I will defer to Mr. Shamanor.
Jane?
Currently, the Bender's Cove subdivision has the ability to obtain 25 COs before building permit issuance is suspended to get the road improvements on Bender's Ferry and the intersection at Lebanon Road completed. As it pertains to Traymore, they have a condition in their approved ordinance that states that the completion of the Benders Ferry Road and Lebanon Road intersection improvements by the Benders Ferry PUD shall be completed by the issuance of their first CO. Traymore is asking that CO trigger be increased to 25 to match what Benders Ferry has due to utility conflicts that have occurred with Piedmont Natural Gas. As such, since your board and the Board of Commissioners came up with the CO trigger, or I wasn't in a position at the time to hear what the negotiations were behind the scenes for those CO triggers, I'll turn it over to you guys to discuss and establish the request, or grant the request or recommendation for the CO trigger that Traymore subdivision Pulte is requesting.
Sure. The, as I looked at this, a couple of quick things came up on this. I know we put the same condition. Apologies, can't remember the name of the Meritage. What is the name of the?
Bender's Cove, sir.
Bender's Cove. Okay. So we put the same road improvement condition on Traymore as we had on, so that way whoever was first in the game had to complete the Bender's Ferry improvements. In this case, Bender's Cove was first game in, and they're right there do we still have a end of May, if I'm recall correctly, completion date for that?
It's dependent on Piedmont right now, but I did see them actually working today. So I just with my own eyes, optimistically, I think it'll get completed this summer.
So the Bender's Cove is working to complete the improvements. Therefore, Traymore is not part of the Bender's Ferry improvements, but I've not driven past there. Has in front of Traymore subdivision, have they completed all of the required improvements at their subdivision entrance?
Those improvements are under the jurisdiction of Wilson County Road Commission. The road improvements are.
So they're not going to be able to do the improvements and the conditions that we imposed on them?
No, sir. We don't have the jurisdiction out there. I'd have to defer to the engineer about their improvements, but I believe they're doing, Sean may know, that they're widening the road section between the end of the Bender's Cove site up to Mays Chapel, and they're adding a couple of turn lanes in addition.
And we did a decel, I thought, as well at the entrance. Todd, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, so there's two sets of conditions for Traymore, ours and the county's, because it only derives access from county roads. We require them to do turn lanes at their Bender's Ferry access and to widen Polecat. The county required them to continue the 3-lane section up from the Bender's Cove property line up to either Mays Chapel or Gay Winds. I'd imagine Gay Winds because that's where their driveway is.
Right.
However, because that was a county recommendation, there is not a CO trigger attached to that. Or, sorry, not a county recommendation. That is a county requirement.
Okay.
They cannot derive access off that road without doing that. So I would assume that's a first CO kind of thing, but that would be enforced by the Wilson County Road Commission.
And not us. But we didn't give Traymore any kind of a CO trigger that I'm aware of, did we?
I believe ours were first CO.
They needed to have their stuff complete by first CO. And that was a Bender's Ferry. Okay. And try to get back in tune on that. Do you have a question, Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, we were talking about Bender's Cove. Did we not vote as the BOC to allow them to the 1st of July instead of 1st of May? Or was it requested for the 1st of July and we voted for the 1st of May?
I don't.
I don't-
You're wrong. I don't think there was a second.
There was
on the
not.
motion. Okay.
Yeah.
The
On the
BOC
second-
never voted.
Yeah, on the second reading, there was no vote.
Okay. So it stayed at May instead of July then? Is that what
There
happened?
was,
Well,
no,
it just stayed
sir.
at 50 COs.
It stayed at 25
Or stayed
COs,
at 25 COs. There we go.
which I got to count today. They're at 20.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and call for representation of this project. Name and address for the record.
5 Klein Avenue. Thank you for entertaining this request. We're just hoping for a little bit of grace to match the 25 CO unit count that was granted to Bender's Cove. We are actively working on our turn lanes at our entrance on Bender's Ferry. Our improvements are the widening of Bender's Ferry stops at Mays Chapel. It does not go all the way up to Gay Winds Drive. And we are actively working on the widening of Polecat as well. So we are in control of our own destiny on Polecat and our turn lanes on Bender's. What we don't have control of is Meritage efforts from their project to Lebanon Road. That's what we're asking for some relief on. So thank you. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So that was correct. We didn't give Traymore any kind of, or was your improvements need to be done by your first CO?
Yeah, ours are, and we're on track to do that.
How quickly do you expect to fill the first 25 homes? What if that happens in a week?
We're barely getting started on 3 model homes.
Okay.
I think we might have a model home ready in August. We just don't want to be caught by Lebanon improvements not being done. That's all. Thank you.
Further questions, comments?
So they just want 25 then.
Very well. Seeing no additional questions, comments, let me call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Anyone wishing to make comments, welcome, encouraged to do so. And please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments this time, I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to this item on our agenda.
A motion for a positive recommendation with the 25 CO trigger.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Yes, sir, please.
Before we get off the subject, anything you want to, if you have to communicate with the County Road Commission on any item like this, on subdivision that straddles both jurisdictions, let me know. I'll take it before the board if necessary. I go to those meetings. You know.
Be great. Thank you. Next item up on our agenda is item 8A, is to review the final master development plan, site plan for the Wawa located at 4515 Beckwith Road. Mr. John.
All right, I'll preface this one first. I'm sure you all know what this project is. Their PUD amendment for the number of pumps is currently making its way through BOC. It passed first read on the 9th, I believe. When I was reaching out to this applicant to see if they would like to defer this until that PUD amendment is complete, it still has a second read, passed on first read, but still has a second read. They expressed a desire to keep it on the agenda here, which obviously we did. And I added a condition on there that this approval of this site plan shall be null and void if the PUD amendment before the BOC approaching second read fails to pass. So I recommend approval with that condition, but by all means, if it's not palatable to do it before the PUD amendment passes fully, you could defer it, or can they defer it twice? Because it's been deferred once, I believe, right? So if it can be deferred again, Sam, then that option is there too. But like I said, it's got one read on the PUD amendment still at BOC. I would have personally preferred to leave it off the agenda, but the applicant was desiring to have it added here tonight. And so I did put in a condition that it should be void should the BOC amendment fail. And other than that, I mean, that this plan is pretty good. It was just those variances that they're asking for with the size of the building and the facade on the canopy and the number of pumps. But like I said, those went through BOC already in positive first read.
Thank
you. Yes.
Okay. Public Works.
Staff does recommend approval with our conditions as listed. One thing that has occurred since this project was first commented on, the master developer took on the task of showing that the the PUD area does not require detention, which I reviewed and approved in the interim. So we'll be working with the developer to modify their site plan accordingly.
You think that'll have any effects changing what we're seeing tonight?
No, sir.
Okay.
And the reason they're able to forego detention is because the creek sits on the northern end of the PUD. So being that close, it's detention is typically not required. So they showed the analysis of that in the interim.
Very well. Questions, comments from the commission? Very well. We have representation to this project. Welcome to come forward. Be name and address for the record.
Good evening, it's Chip Ashley, 573 Montrose Drive, Mount Juliet, with Kimley Horn representing Wawa and representing Old Acre McDonald. Appreciate you guys listening to our request tonight. And I know Wawa is really excited about this location and finally being in the community. It's taken a lot of work to get to this point, so we're real excited about being able to open the first Mount Juliet store here shortly. If you guys have any questions, be happy to answer those or speak to those.
I'm not following you through the BOC. Did you get positive recommendation on the first reading?
Yes, sir. We were consent agenda with no public comment.
Very well. Any questions, comments from the commission? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, sir. This time, let's go ahead and call for citizen comments. Any citizens wishing to make comment in regards to this item on the agenda is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. See no citizen comments this time. Looking for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda.
I volunteer a motion to approve with conditions of same.
Well, motion. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item up on the agenda is item 8B, is to review the final master development plan, site plan for the convenience store located at 2190 North Mount Juliet Road. Ms. Jill.
Hello. This plan has been before you previously, and they did defer due to a multitude of things to kind of go back to the drawing board. Their PMDP was approved back in September 8th. This is for the convenience store at 2190 North Mount Juliet, right down here on the right, across the railroad tracks. Their intent is to completely redevelop the site. This is a welcome project for a lot of people. It's a long time coming, a lot of staff effort, and the developer, there's been a lot of effort, a lot of meeting, a lot of back and forth. But they've worked diligently with staff to try and meet all the conditions and the wants and the needs of this project. The updated convenience store, the new convenience store per se, is 3,604 square feet. They did get approvals to increase their pumps. They will have 3 pumps and 6 handles. That was approved via the BOC back in September. The FMDP does conform with the PMDP. All the previously approved waivers that were also done with the ordinance included a 23-foot setback in lieu of 30 feet, 16 parking spaces, including those at the pump instead of the 24 required, along with a CDS waiver of no masonry on the north and south ends of the fuel canopy. But again, as I said, this does substantially conform to the PMDP that came before y'all several months ago. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer those.
Thank you. Shane, Public Works.
Our comments are general in nature, and we recommend approval with those comments.
Very well. Todd, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I know it's an existing, it's not a necessarily a new proposal, but tear down, redo on this from a traffic standpoint.
Yeah. So a few of the snags this project have hit in past have been resolved. They're completely out of the railroad right away. They are internally doing one-way circulation kind of counterclockwise. That's why they've got the angled parking that maximizes their number of parking, which was a variance that they had. So that's good to see. And their access is going to be right in, right out only with the dual drives. You know, each drive's going one way only. It's an improvement from what's out there, quite frankly. It's matching the same use, so TDOT doesn't need to get involved. It's a good plan.
Very well. Good. Do you have a comment? Commissioner Franklin, please.
Question, you know, the way it's set up, and I agree, it is an improvement, but the parking could be gone for people because they were not going to be able to see it from the building. When they pull around, could have to go around a few times. See what I'm saying? If somebody wanted to stop, I mean, they come by and they see it, it's all full. They could go around and around. It's that movement. I see that movement being kind of unusual for a store, but I see that here. Little circle track race going here if you're not careful.
I understand that what you're saying. I think that's going to happen no matter what when the store is behind the canopy. They did get approved for a substantial reduction in parking. And quite frankly, if the parking is full, they're just going to lose customers. And that was stated to the applicant at PMDP. They understood and they wanted to move forward. So.
Is there any impact on that existing auto shop behind? I know that there have been some, I don't even know how to phrase that, some significant issues in the past around that. And I know they park a lot of cars back there. It looks like this property extends just about to the edge of that building. Has that all been sorted or not our concern? Where's that at?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the access to that garage is via the rail right away. They just drive across that. And one of the issues we had with this plan initially was that they had parking. They had their site encroached into that right away. And we've got this pulled out of there now.
Okay.
But that auto body shop, yes, they do get access on that north side of this site. There might be another access. I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't think there is. That's a landlocked piece back there.
Yeah.
That's a tough spot that one's in back there for access.
It does look like that shop has another access from behind this building. But whether there's an easement that grants them that is a much different story.
Okay.
Further questions, comments? We have representation that'd like to speak on this. You're welcome and encouraged to do so. Name and address for the record.
Hello, I'm Will Clark. Address is 302 North Caldwell Street in Paris, Tennessee. Happy to answer any questions. I work for L.I. Smith for the engineer designing the site.
Very well. Thank you for hearing. I'll say thank you for hearing the comments and addressing them. It's a good location for the store right there, but looks like we kind of went back to bat and heard what was being said and found a way to make it done. I compliments on the architecture that I saw here too. That'll be very nice for kind of our city center area right here when it's all said and done.
I actually saw it for the first time driving through to this meeting today, and it's going to be a big upgrade.
Yeah.
Compared to what's there. And
Yeah. I'm a lifer here, and it's as long as I can remember, almost just like it sits today.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
It was difficult. Of course, like you heard, there's a lot of little roadblocks here and there along the way, but I think the plan that we have put together now is pretty solid. I think we've addressed all the comments that have been issued. And
Commissioner Jones, please.
Visiting on this, you probably won't know this answer. Do you know how late they're gonna stay open?
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know that answer. But
Hopefully
next
it'll
time
be
I'm
later
here,
than a lot
I
of
can
the
definitely
others.
get that information for you.
Further questions, comments from the commission? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and open this up for citizen comments. Any citizens wishing to make comment in regards to this item on our agenda, welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. See no citizen comments at this time. Looking for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda.
I'll make a motion for a positive recommendation,
Or is a motion for approval?
or motion, I'll make a motion for approval based on all the documentation.
Very well. It's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next item up on our agenda is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners is to review the right-of-way abandonment for a portion of Aiden Lane to the Winfield subdivision HOA. Mr. Shane?
As Winfield development is wrapping up, they were given a part of their approval included a walking path connection to the Bradford Park subdivision through Winfield, and that terminates at the amenity center. As this project was coming together, the connection couldn't be made without going through city right of way. And in agreement with the Winfield HOA and from a city's perspective of eliminating potential future liability and maintenance, we bring this item before you and the BOC to abandon that right of way to the Winfield HOA so that they can fulfill the condition of the walking trail, and the city's not saddled with liability, maintenance, and any hold harmless agreements that come about with the utilities as they construct this path. We recommend approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Just how many, I'm assuming this is just kind of a hammerhead right here on Aiden Lane.
Yes, sir. It's just a dead end.
How many houses are served before you get out of there? And my only question is, if it's never going to have any connection, do we need to make it a cul-de-sac? No?
No.
Okay.
No, the amount of,
Perfect. Questions, comments from the commission? Seeing none, at this time, let's go ahead and ask for citizen comments. Anyone wishing to make comment in regards to this item on the agenda is welcome and encouraged to do so. Come to the microphone, name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, looking for a recommendation in regards to this item on our agenda.
Motion for a recommendation for positive.
It's a motion for a positive recommendation. Very well. Do I have a second? Oh, okay. Very well. That's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? There's a positive recommendation. Next item up on our agenda is item 11A, which is also a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It is to review the zoning ordinance amendment to Article 5, Sections 5-104.1 and 5-104.4. Mr. John?
Thank you. Okay, so this first one is Article 5. It will apply to single-family and mixed-use / multifamily developments. As you know, a couple years ago, the post office made some changes, and they don't necessarily put mailboxes at all the houses anymore. It's kiosks now. And, for the last 4 years, maybe 5 years, almost as long as I've been here, we've always included conditions in our preliminary plats or PMDPs that mail kiosks be covered, lighted, and include parking. And this just simply puts that in our code because it was always just an ask before. And now we have, if you have a mail kiosk, it has to be covered, lit, and include parking.
Very
That's
well.
all this is. And it will apply to all forms of residential.
Very well. Questions? Come?
Is that a federal requirement?
It is.
Okay, so they just superseded everybody and said you'll be doing it.
We came up with this language years ago just to kind of deal with the fact that now we had to address mail kiosks because it was
Understood.
a fairly new thing a couple of years ago.
I've personally have been one that have asked staff to provide these standards because I know that the commission's heard me say often kind of frustration with sticking the mail at amenities out there. And I guess this would be the time to address anything like that outside of it as far as a recommendation. A few things as I look through this that just based upon what we're seeing here and the changes and thinking through some plans, I made several notes as items that I think that we should consider adding along with this. One of them is that we don't allow the mail kiosk to be located in the subdivision amenity portion. If they are located within amenities, they're to be inside of a heated and cooled building, which your postman would absolutely love that, and with dedicated parking as such towards that. And not just, we often see our amenities with you get a pool, playground, and a building, usually around 20 parking places for subdivisions being served by usually around 100 plus homes. And parking meets our requirements, is inadequate for being able to get in, get out, get your mail, and whatnot there. So that's one that I'd personally like to see is not allow unless they're going to be inside of the clubhouse. On that, actually spoke to two post masters about that, and they would love it for security purposes. Very similar to how apartments handle their mail. Would be a similar aspect of that, where you'd have a kind of almost a quote unquote secure mail room where they walk around to the back, feed the mail into there, and then walk back, so they're not exposed to weather or security or anything else. And you can imagine the time that they have to spend, as one individual, not at the post office, one individual putting the mail in this many boxes. With that being said, as well, if you take them away, either make them as pull-offs. I think I've used the reference of on Providence Parkway, how you can have the little pull-off right there where you used to be able to see the overall PUD approval for Providence as a whole. I think just a kind of a turn-off right there where you get off the public street and can get your mail and then queue back on would be a great way to design these. Several other notes that I have, multiple kiosks, maybe a kicker that once you're over 100 homes in a neighborhood that you have to go multiple kiosks out there so that everything's not shoved at the front. Maybe I come in this way, maybe you come in this way, but to make them convenient for the neighborhoods as a whole and not try to stack them all there in one place. Most of these, I know that we're going to do covered lighting, but I would feel like that, whereas I don't, if it's freestanding, awning, covered, gabled sides, whatever, but do we need to add anything for design standards out there for these so that, they're not just some aluminum poles with a aluminum awning or something over it, so that we have something that require them to make them tasteful back to the community. Another one that I had on here was that this detail must be submitted and it must be part of the PMDP. Don't want to see them coming forward with this once we adopt something like this and saying, well, we're still trying to figure that out. Similar to what we do on a landscape plan, as we see often, still under review. I'd like it to be a part of our initial approval as we make recommendations back to the BOC on this. But also, I think that this is important because not every round item fits into square holes or whatnot, or vice versa, is to make sure that we have mechanisms that allow us variances out there, or allows the planning commission to grant a variance should it makes sense to put it into amenity center, even though I'm saying that I'd prefer it not. We could have we put it in there, no amenity centers, but then it makes sense for 10 lot subdivision, 20 lot subdivision, because sometimes it could make sense to add it there. So I just want to make sure that we don't pass an ordinance that would have at the same time be positive, but then a potential negative effect on it, and the ability to be able to grant a variance to what we do, I think would also be welcome on this. But I'm particularly excited about seeing this because for years, really, since this has been adopted from the Postal Service, it's something that we've it's a consistent ongoing, and this right here kind of gets your engineers to plan for this right here and plan a little bit better than sticking it somewhere. Hey, I'm just going to stick it at the amenity center. And I'd say the vast majority of what we see, they're just, hey, I need a mail kiosk. Let's put it right there. And then in the middle of summertime, when you're using your amenities, you're at the playground, you're at the pool, you're congregating together, you're at the picnic tables or whatever in this open space. Hey, I also got to come through this traffic area that's filled with children and families and get my mail. Let's make it separate the two and let's make it convenient for them. So that would kind of be my feedback, and kind of just me speaking. So I'd love to hear any further additional thoughts from the commission as well.
I like your idea on, one kiosk per, let's say 100 homes, that type of thing. I think that having one in a large neighborhood, above 100, 150 homes would drive a lot more traffic to the same place. Whereas my neighborhood, for example, has 300 homes, but there are 1, 2, 3, minimum 3, maybe 4 entrances to it. And people will take those various entrances, get to their homes. But if they all have to go get the mail in the same spot, it's going to drive a ton of traffic to that central location. So I would say they should be distributed accordingly as necessary. And I think they should be separate from the clubhouse. For example, if you had to go into a clubhouse to get that mail, our clubhouse is currently shut down to residents. We don't have access to it. So that would be a major difficulty in figuring that side of things out. So separate and with dedicated parking spots for the kiosks as well, or a drive-through type situation like that in Providence and some of those areas to drop the mail.
Do you live in a neighborhood with a kiosk? Just
No,
curious.
I do
Okay.
not.
Does anybody?
But
Do you,
I can
do you,
see-
can, do
Yeah, I'd
you
love your
speak to
feedback.
that? I'm old school, so I've got the old traditional mailbox out there. So
You're not that old, Luke.
Yeah, no personal experience.
Actually, I'm in Kelsey Glen, and our mail kiosk is up by the pool, surrounded by all homes that have mailboxes, and the homes that don't have mailboxes are at the back of the subdivision. So we had to come up to the front of the subdivision to get our mail, and that's a bit of an irritant. I mean, it's not bad. It's not that terrible, but for good design, it would be good to have the mail kiosk back where people that actually use it are located. I do want to second on two of your comments is, lighting and lit and covered. It could be a collapsible tent and a light bulb hanging from a little pole as far as the way that's listed. So I'd like to get some more definition on what that needs to be, a substantial structure with X amount of lighting. I don't know if we need to do a particular amount of lumens or something like that, but just something that specifies what we're truly looking for.
Further
Is there a
thoughts?
standard for these actual kiosks? I can see security being huge. I mean, one bad actor could hit, 200 mailboxes at the same time and just.
My understanding is the only quote unquote standard from the postmaster is all steel box. They require X number of parcel boxes per unit or per mailbox. So to get larger packages, they have to go into the parcel box. But unfortunately, they do deal with several of these that have no standards, that are literally the postman is standing in the rain feeding your mail into these kiosks.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's any in Mount Juliet like that. I spoke to the Old Hickory postmaster as well, and there's several that they service that have no light, have no cover, and literally they have to park the truck on a busy public street to even walk over to it. There's not even sidewalk access to them. So I think that helps. I guess I'd like staff's thought on this. I don't want to put too much or Sam's thoughts. I'd love some feedback on this.
A couple things with the conversation about having multiple kiosks in different locations. I don't know that USPS would be okay with that. So I don't exactly know what it looks like, but I know that developers are required to get with USPS during the planning phase.
Mhm.
And they're required to have a centralized location. So I don't know what that means.
So the Postal Service is saying they really want it just one place, no matter how many.
According to, I'm looking at it right now, they use the word centralized. I don't know what that means exactly, if they would allow multiple. I'm just not sure.
Okay.
It specifically said if they have to install centralized mail delivery.
Okay.
So they might not be okay with that.
Yeah, certainly don't want to override them on that right there, but that would further strengthen the argument to pull it out of your amenity center. So if you're servicing over 100, and again, most likely that amenity center has around 20 parking places. To me, that's a problem.
Chairman,
Please.
one other thing, you commented on having the ability to give a variance about if it's in the building or not. I believe during the PUD process, you'd be able to do that, but if this is a straight zone neighborhood, then you wouldn't, if it's just written in the code how it is. So whatever you approve in the code, that's how it would have to be. There'd be no variance for it.
And I'll say that in my now 21 years here, I've only approved one subdivision underneath base zone. So we are in good shape. Yeah. Yeah, probably a few back in your day, if
Ended around 2001.
that people developed underneath base zonings.
Yeah. You know, on this kiosk thing, I wonder if there's not some models, some illustrations, if there's not something somewhere the post office is already sort of, put out there. There's not. I mean, is there any way? I know we've done it before. Our zoning ordinance used to have, recommendations, sort of, not necessarily rules for that, but little illustrations of how you might want to do it. One parking space for 300 house. I mean, what's that look like? Nobody can even stop.
I can't even imagine what a 300 unit mail kiosk would look like.
Yeah.
Or Jackson Hills, a 600 unit mail kiosk. It'd be enormous.
We'd have to have multiple. I mean, you'd have to.
Look like a bunch of lockers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it
And
looked
then
like.
is there a standard size on how big each kiosk or each needs to be? Yeah.
I will say we get a lot of, we get them with every subdivision, we get a sample and, or an illustration of the covered kiosk, and they're always the same.
Yeah.
It's a standard one that every developer puts in the plans,
And they do look they usually look pretty good. I mean, it's like a brick base with, and a nice, I mean, it looks quality, but
6x6
I got
columns,
one
corbels.
for My subdivision, probably about 150 units, and there's one there, it's got 3 parking spaces I've never seen.
it's never busy.
My car only in there like that,
Yeah.
But it's not by an amenity center, it's not.
It's freestanding.
Yeah, it's freestanding, it's not next to the amenities, but it's like the ones we see in the plans, covered with a motion detecting light, so you go there at night, it turns on. Looks nice.
Further questions, comments? Very well. Let's go ahead and call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Anyone wishing to make comment is welcome to encourage you to do so. Come to the microphone, name and address. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, I'd like to ask for a recommendation in regards to this item on our agenda. As such, I guess I'm the one that talked the most, so I will make I'm gonna make a positive recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. And this is going to be subject to staff kind of working on this. If you need any additional input, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to try to explain myself. But with the addition of the mail kiosk to not be located within the amenities for the subdivision, we can't do that. and I don't know how I'd really put this, but in the design characteristic of it, a pull off or parking place. I don't know how you word something like that, but I think you kind of know a little bit of vision on that. I don't know how we would write the design standards out there to say all wood, metal roof, paintable, similar design standards. I don't necessarily want to go all brick and stone or anything on it because some may be really nice with 6x6 cedar posts and corbels and a nice metal roof. So I don't want to get rid of something like that, but I like the covered and the lit and whatnot. That all need to be submitted and part of the PMDP, the submittal process on it for us. Did you have something?
I just think it should be the same standards as the subdivision.
Yeah.
Look the
Yeah.
same way as the subdivision.
So
If we
subject,
don't have enough strength in it, then a wind could take the kiosk and then everybody's mail scattered from here to Carthage.
so we'll put it subject to our design standard.
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. I'll include that as part of my positive recommendation. That is a positive, or that is my recommendation.
Second.
It's a motion and a second for a positive recommendation. All those in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against, abstentions? That is a positive recommendation. Next item on our agenda is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners to review the zoning ordinance amendment to Articles, is it 7 or 6 and 7? Sections 6-103.7 and 7-103.9. Mr. Jonathan.
This is another one that stuff we've asked for a long time, and it's just not ever been codified in the ordinance. It's just things that we've asked. And as we go out and inspect these properties at the end of the line, sometimes what's agreed upon at the front end doesn't necessarily make it to the site, and then we don't have a lot of teeth to enforce it, if it's not in our code. And it's simple things. This applies to Articles 6 and 7, like you said, and it's the same for each one, and it involves basically 3 different things here, and one of them is parking lot lighting. So the poles with the lights, we're asking via this, it's placed in grass or landscaped areas adjacent to paved parking areas or drive aisles, so that you don't have a concrete base in between parking spots in the middle of the parking lot with poles sticking out of it. It'll force those to areas outside of the vehicular use area. That's kind of newer. We haven't always asked that, but it's been coming up more frequently. And that would apply to both commercial and industrial. Both of these, or all 3 of these that I'm going to talk about here, apply to both commercial and industrial. Now, the other 2 items are super simple, and we've been asking these again for years. Channel posts, no channel posts permitted. Instead, it's got to be a tube or a box, smooth, not filled with holes. So again, most places around town are already going to have that because we've been asking for a while, but now it'll be in the zoning ordinance. And then the other one is yellow bollards. We always ask that bollards be painted black or brown or something other than yellow or red or blue, something more muted. And that's the 3rd change to these sections that's proposed, and that's it in these 2.
Very well. Thank you. Anything for Public Works on that one? Very well. Questions or comments from the Commissioner? Commissioner Giles, please.
So if the parking lot is a very large parking lot and you need a light, you need lights interior of that parking lot, will you use that as like stormwater maintenance? I mean, just some grass in an area and that's where the pole is?
So in a large parking lot, they're going to have vehicular use area landscape requirements, which is going to require like traffic, like islands, vegetated islands. We'd be asking them to put it in those spaces.
I understand. And it should be, yeah.
Questions, comments?
Oh, I got one more.
Please.
So in this particular, these are going into the section of the code, and Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, but these are in the design standards in our zoning ordinance, which the planning commission, so it's things like facade, it's in the same section as like facade materials. So the planning commission has the ability to waive any of these.
Very well. No further questions or comments. Let's go ahead and open up for citizen comments. Anyone wishing to make comment in regards to this item on the agenda, we'll encourage you to do so. Come to the microphone and name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Sally
There you go.
Robertson, 423 Wills Pass. Okay, my comment is, I was told to come to this meeting about, as a cyclist, I'm a cyclist, I can use my bike a lot as a commuter, not just recreational. And then saying you guys were working on streets, the last BPAC.
Good question. So
Todd became, what,
let me help you on that one
Yeah,
right
help me on
there.
that one.
Yeah. You are most likely referring to item, which was item 9A on our agenda. That is, I'm going to read you what item it was. That's to review the subdivision regulations amendment to Article 4-103, which is streets and pedestrian ways.
Okay.
And we ended up having to defer that item
Okay.
from our agenda tonight because we needed to make proper public notification in regards to it.
okay.
And that will fall now on our May agenda. So third Thursday of May is when that will come back up. And you would have been nail on the head, but we did, as we began our meeting tonight, I did see you come in just a few minutes after we started.
I'm sorry, I was.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm glad you came. Yes, ma'am. And I see you riding, so I'm familiar with your
Right,
face. It's nice to put a name to it.
As transportation as well as recreation. I just wanted to say my 2 cents, but so May, I can come back.
Yes, ma'am. It'll be the third Thursday of May at 6:30. And yes, ma'am, please come.
Okay.
No, it'll be the May meeting.
Happy what?
Yeah, it's too late to get on the April. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. See no additional citizen comments this time. Looking for recommendation in regards to this item on our agenda. Motion for a positive recommendation? That's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? This is a positive recommendation. With that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. It's a motion. Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against? Abstentions? We are adjourned.